Hey everybody, welcome back to the Peebs channel. Today I'm going to be going over some games that in my opinion have aged really well. Specifically games that are pretty old. I'm trying not to say that because if these games are old, I mean, what does that say about me? But yeah, I mean, they're old as hell. I'm doing games that are either 20 years old, older, or at least almost 20 years old. So no official cutoff, but I basically wanted to talk about games that are like actually old. And yes, there are some GameCube games in this, so that's maybe some of you in the audience are feeling a little bit ancient like me right now. It's okay though, we'll get through it. I have my stack here as always, very unsturdy looking, although a little sturdier looking than last time. Ta-da! In fact, we are starting with a GameCube game, a game that I have come to love quite a bit as of the past couple years. Chibi Robo. Well, I shouldn't say past couple years. Honestly, it's been like the last 5 or 6 years, I guess. I first played this for my top 10 GameCube games video on my Peanut Butter Gamer channel. I had never played it before that, and I have since fallen in love with this game. Yeah, this one's not quite 20 years. I think it's about 19 something though, so it's right there. If you're unfamiliar with the game, basically you are a little robot. You are one of the many Chibi Robos sold to different families across Japan, presumably. And your job is to just cook, clean, do whatever the people in your house need without really being noticed. But of course, as you get further into the game, you're not just cleaning and doing chores. You're also like fighting robots and things. But yeah, you are doing a lot of cleaning, a lot of like scrubbing dog footprints and stuff off the ground. Some of you thought I was gonna say dog something else off the ground. I don't think that's in the game to my recollection. Technically, I've never beaten the game 100%, so there could be dog shit in the game. I don't know. Unconfirmed. But yeah, I feel like this is one of those games that a bunch of people have heard of but never played, so if you find yourself in that category, then I really highly recommend this game. In fact, it's on the Switch too. Well, the NSO GameCube, right? I'm pretty sure it is, from my recollection. Play this game on NSO when it comes out, if you haven't already. It's kind of hard to find a physical copy, but yeah, coming to NSO. It's a weird series because this was the first game, and I haven't played all the Chibi Robo games, but to my understanding, they really deviated away from this first game, which to me is just such a shame. Like, this first game is so good. It's quirky, it's fun, it's funny, it's got so much charm, it's also kind of weird and trippy at points, and I think it aged really well, which is why it's in this video. Nintendo, bring back this Chibi Robo. This one, please. All right, next we have, okay, this one, kind of a little bit of a stretch to say that it aged well. I was initially planning on calling this video like really old games that are still good or still fun or something like that. That was the initial idea for the title, I guess. And I decided to go with games that aged really well. So that pretty much is perfectly fine with all the rest of the games. They still fit in this. I don't know if this one does. Anyway, it's the Elder Scrolls Oblivion. But yeah, I've talked about this game a million times. It's one of my favorite games ever, so you'll have to just excuse me a little bit. I mean, we're talking like top 3. Fairly topically relevant lately since it was just remastered. You could say this game has actually not aged well at all. In fact, it is very, let's say, glitchy. It's quirky though. It's not glitchy, it's quirky. It has personality. But despite all the factual, objective evidence to the contrary, I would say it actually aged really well. In fact, I think the fact that people are enjoying this remake of Oblivion with all the glitches and crazy, quirky things included, I think that's kind of evidence to support what I'm saying, that it actually did age really well, because that kind of quirky, awkward silliness mixed with the actual really amazing fantasy epic that Oblivion is. It still works. It's still hitting with people here in the year of our Lord 2025. So yeah, that's my argument. Take it or leave it. I did put it early in the video though. Again, this is not really a definitive list of any sort. I mean, to the extent that it even is a list. Obviously, there's a lot of other games that I'm gonna be missing here. For one thing, these are just games that came to mind for me, games that I like. But I did try and order them in, like, you know, this one's a little harder to argue that aged really well. Honestly, I probably, Chibi Robo's kind of getting screwed over here. Anyway, we're moving towards the things that, you know, no one could argue that they aged well, or that they didn't. I'm not the best at talking, which is really unfortunate since I'm a YouTuber for a living and it's my job to talk. I'm working on it. Give me another 10 years on YouTube and maybe, and I think I can manage to become an average at my job. Thank you for your patience. Next game we have Kirby Superstar. I've got a bunch of GameCube games, PC games, and things like that, but I do have some Super Nintendo and even NES games in here. We'll get to those at some point. The first being Kirby Superstar, 8 games in one. Someone should really clean their cartridges, but it's hard to find the time. If I think a game that aged well, you know, one of the more obvious things you think about is the graphics, which I do think Kirby Superstar still looks really good today. This like really clean pixel look. I mean, people emulate this kind of style in new indie games and stuff even to this day. So I do think it's still appealing to look at, but also it's just fun to play. You got the ground cracking game. That's how you do it. Just like that. Got the classic ninja game. That freaking ninja sound is still so iconic to me to this day. Those are sort of mini games, but you also get all these other actual, like, basically full-length Kirby games all compiled into one NES game. My favorite always being the treasure hunting one. That one's great. I can't really remember which one it is, but one of the games is an actual, just like, full-length Kirby game. You go through, in the end, you're like fighting in spaceships, fighting this big clock guy. Dude, the Kirby lore is insane. I'm not even gonna even try to understand it. I don't even care. It's just, it goes deep if you want to dig down there. But yeah, I'm not always the biggest Kirby fan. I do like Kirby as a character, but some of the games I'm not really particularly interested in. There are some exceptions though. One being Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I really liked that game on Switch. And the next being Kirby Superstar. This is one of my favorite games growing up. Talked about it before. It's just as good as it used to be, if you ask me. Next we've got The Sims 2. I thought about putting The Sims 1 on here, but I've talked about it in one of these gaming ramble videos before already. And also, I just think this one is probably, it's the fan favorite. They also just re-released this on Steam as well. I think you can also get the like modded version that plays on modern PCs as well if you want. You could argue that the graphics are not really that great anymore, but I actually think they look fine. I mean, they're not that, I mean, like, compare them to Sims 4. I mean, it's not that big of a difference. But what really stands out with The Sims 2 and makes it the definitive Sims game for some people is all the little extra details. You can find tons of different comparison videos on YouTube, like putting food in the microwave. In Sims 2, they actually walk into the bus. In The Sims 3, they just kind of appear there. And one of my favorites, drowning. Instead of the body disappearing, it actually just floats there, which, you know, pretty cool. It just feels like with The Sims 2, everything was improved on from the first game. There was more details, the graphics were better, everything was just better in general. In Sims 3, it's like, you know, there are some things that I like about The Sims 3 that are not in The Sims 2, but for the most part, The Sims 2 just is better in almost every way. It's hard to explain. I would need like an entire video to go over this. If you're a Sims fan, if you know, you know. But yeah, I'd say you can play it on Steam and everything now with the re-release, but I hear it has like crazy glitches and crashes and stuff, so I actually don't even know if that's really the best way to do it. Next, we've got the game that aged better than any other game ever made. We've got Shrek Extra Large for the GameCube. No game has ever done it better. It's the best game of all time. To this day, it still plays like... Just kidding. Next we've got... Wait. Oh, here's that other copy of Oblivion. There it is. I don't know why it's on the stack. Oh, we've got Oblivion again. We've got Defender of the Crown for the NES. Now, this one may seem like a little bit of a stretch to some people, but I mean, come on. We're talking about an NES game here. Just keep that in mind. This is not 20 years old. This is more like 35 years old? Yeah, oh yeah, 1989. It's over 35 years old. So let's cut Defender of the Crown a little slack here. In Defender of the Crown, you are a guy. That guy, I guess? I don't know, maybe that guy? I think you're probably that guy. And you defend the crown. Is that a good enough explanation? This is a medieval strategy game, I guess. There's some action bits and things in it as well, but it's mostly a strategy game. So yeah, there's like some king who died or something, and you're a saxophone, and you want to like avenge his death and get the crown back. Something like that. I think that's pretty much the story. It takes place in like England, I think, somewhere over there. There's strategy elements. You also compete in tournaments and fights and things. You storm the castle. I don't know. It may look a little bit goofy, but it's one of those things that if you use your imagination, you really can get into it. And it even has some pretty good pixel graphics for the time. I mean, some of these shots look really good in my opinion. I played this with Jeff on PB and Jeff pushing 10 years ago now at this point. And I just remember being really impressed with it, and it was way better than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, definitely aged, but I think compared to a lot of NES games, this one aged really well, and it also stands out from a lot of NES games in terms of like, you're not just side-scrolling or a top-down like plane shooting things. Like, there's a lot of different things going on in this game. Next, I've got Pikmin! Another game I've talked about before in these videos. I won't spend long on it. I just feel like I couldn't do this video without including Pikmin. This is the Wii version, but this game still looks great. It still plays great, and I personally like it better than 2. I know that's a somewhat controversial opinion, but I feel like I don't see people bringing up Pikmin when they talk about games that have aged well, but I think it totally deserves to be in that conversation. Still to this day, I can't think of a game, gameplay-wise, that really plays like Pikmin. I mean, it's so unique. I love the vibe and the music, and the Pikmin are super cute. I love that it mixes cute with the cute without dying. Like, I love that kind of thing. A little bit of cutesy with my dark, little Pikmin death, please. Thank you. But yeah, everybody knows what Pikmin is. I think this game deserves some love in this kind of discussion, and hopefully it starts getting some of that moving forward, because this game is just as good today as it was when it came out. Another game I won't spend long on, Resident Evil 4. You gotta include this game. In fact, if anything, it should probably be further down the list, because I can't think of very many games that have aged as well as this game. I mean, the GameCube, like I said, is over 20 years old now, right? Without that knowledge, if you think in your head a console that's 20 years old, I feel like you're thinking older than the GameCube. The GameCube actually had really good graphics, and I can't think of a better example, at least in terms of like a more realistic style, than Resident Evil 4. Still looks super good to this day on the GameCube version or wherever you're playing it. So the graphics hold up in my opinion. The gameplay definitely holds up. I still think the enemy AI in this game is very impressive for the time. I mean, hell, it's impressive for even today still. A lot of the games on this list have been remade. Obviously, this one included with the RE4 remake. And I really like that game. I think the remake is great. And one of the things I like about that remake is that it's still obviously the same game as Resident Evil 4, but it's different enough from the original that I feel like I can still enjoy both games. The remake has a little bit more of a serious tone, which, you know, it works with the game. I also like the original game has a little bit more campiness, a little bit more silliness.
No way, Leon.
Way?
You out of your mind?
I knew you'd be fine if you landed on your butt.
Some of the radio calls you have with the main bad guy in the game, in the GameCube version, they're really funny.
I've sent my right hand to dispose of you.
Your right hand comes off?
So it still has that dark horror aspect and some scary enemies and some genuinely scary things in this game. But it's also just funny. As I was mentioning with Pikmin, I do like a mix of dark and humor. It's always a good combination to me. And even the gameplay is different. I think it's kind of hard to argue that the remake has worse gameplay than the original in terms of the combat. You can freely move in the remake, which I mean makes sense. Like, why wouldn't you be able to? Whereas in the original version, when you pull your gun out, you whip it out, you are stuck in that place. So you have to like move around and aim with the little laser dot. I don't know. I don't really have a defense for this, but I prefer the version of Leon that is just stuck in place. He can't move. I don't know what's wrong with him. There's something wrong with him. Maybe he just has really bad aim, so he has to like hold still without moving. I feel like there were people that criticized that when the game came out, but it never felt off to me when I was playing it, and it still doesn't. I mean, it makes sense. In real life, you can't really run and gun the way you do in video games. So it kind of makes sense that in order to have your aim be super pinpoint, you have to kind of stop and really line it up. I don't know. I'm probably going a little bit further into this than I need to, but just suffice to say, I like a lot of things about the original game as well as the new game, and I'm glad that they both sort of stand apart from each other, because like I said in another video, this is one of those games that I replay a million times. I'm pretty sure I said I wasn't going to talk about that one long, and I ended up talking about it for a long time, but what are you going to do? Next, we have another NES game, The Immortal. Now, you may know this game from the very, very popular Peanut Butter Gamer video. Actually, it's probably one of my least popular videos at the time. I have no idea how many views it has now, but The Immortal -PBG, all caps on that. It's important. The basic gist of this game is that you are like an old wizard Gandalf guy who is diving deep into a dungeon to kill a dragon, I think is the last thing in the game. I don't really know what the story is. You are Gandalf, but you die a lot. That's pretty much the gist of this. This is what I lovingly refer to as a you game. One of the original you games. One of these days I'll have to do a video on you games. I don't know how I'm gonna get the title to work, but we'll figure it out. Gonna get demonetized, I imagine. It's the kind of game that they would have had in an arcade back in the day, because you die all the time constantly, and you just have to try and use the mistakes you made to figure out what you're supposed to do. I mean, you turn this game on and you walk around for a second and then you die. At least that was what happened to me the first time I played it. It's definitely one of those NES games where I would recommend you play it on an emulator, although otherwise you're going to be wasting a lot of time. It's just very, very unforgiving. This is back in an era where you needed your game to last a really long time, so they would add all these things to extend the length of the game. But with this game, that's the whole point. It literally is just delve into this dungeon, try and get as far as you can. Eventually, you're absolutely going to die, but you can use that knowledge to help you get further next time. Not a game for everybody. It'll make you rage. I probably should have put this on the games that piss me off video, but I didn't. I guess I was saving it for this one. But I think, especially for an NES game, this holds up. I mean, this is one of the few NES games, other than like, I don't know, like a Mario or Mega Man or something, for the NES that I would pull out again and play. And I do pull it out again and play. I don't like that term, pull it out. I need to stop saying that. Anyway, the Immortal. Pretty fun game, if you have the patience for it. Next, we have a Zelda game. Big surprise. I tried to keep this to sort of one game per franchise. So, like, not every game is a Zelda or Mario game. And I could have gone with possibly any Zelda game that's 20 plus years old, but I decided to go with Ocarina of Time. It just makes sense. It's the iconic one, the first game that went into 3D. Wind Waker was one that I thought about, but I'm always talking about Wind Waker. It's my favorite game ever at this point. And I actually don't really talk about Ocarina of Time all that much. I think I did like an Ocarina of Time hacking video. Did I really do any other Ocarina of Time videos? Like, I don't think so. If you're replaying this game today, you might want to play the 3DS version, but I do think the N64 version still holds up too. The graphics still hold up, I think. I mean, obviously it's N64, so you know. But I think all things considered, they aged very well, especially for like one of the first big 3D games. But the gameplay formula is just a class. I don't even think I really need to go very far into it. I mean, it's a Zelda game. It's one of the best games ever made. That's not even my opinion. That's just like objectively what people think. It is constantly thrown up there as one of the best games ever made. Not my favorite Zelda game, but I see why it gets the praise that it does, and I think it deserves it. People tend to think of me as the Nintendo guy. I feel like I'm often inaccurately portrayed as like a Nintendo YouTuber, as if I've only ever talked about Nintendo. That's never really been the case. But yeah, people tend to think of me as playing games like, you know, Putt-Putt, Arthur, Mario. Well, I also like games like Diablo. Specifically, Diablo II, which is the best game in this series. I haven't played 4, so, but I'm still pretty sure people still think 2 is the best, right? I'm pretty sure that I'm not making a hot take right now. I still like the original as well. I love the vibe of it. I love how you're just delving deeper and deeper and deeper into hell to fight Satan himself. Like, that's just such a cool vibe for a game. But realistically, the gameplay is pretty boring. I only played the Paladin, I think, is the class. And I did beat the game, but it was just like left-click spamming and, you know, popping potions every now and then. Like, that was pretty much the gameplay from my experience. Maybe it would have been more interesting if I played a mage or something like that. Diablo 2, on the other hand, I think has a lot better gameplay that has aged a lot better and is still fun to this day. You could argue 3 had better combat, but I don't think really anything else about 3 is better. And you know what else aged well about Diablo? The cutscenes. These games have crazy good cutscenes. In fact, I was really hyped for Diablo 4 simply based on the cinematics that they made alone. Those things were like, they gotta make a Diablo movie. I mean, like, come on, what are you doing, Blizzard? But yeah, I remember being a kid watching these old StarCraft animated cutscenes, and they were scary, dude. Some of them were, like, actually scared me. And then eventually I saw some of these Diablo ones, and they were just like next level. Another game that has been remastered or re-released or whatever the term would be. You can play this on newer consoles. I feel like there was some kind of Blizzard controversy with this Diablo 2 re-release. There's always some Blizzard controversy though, so I can't even remember what it was about. I'm pretty sure that version of the game holds up though, right? Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But yeah, absolutely great game, and the classes are all super different and a lot of fun to play. Man, I'm wanting to play this game just looking at it. I gotta go play some Diablo 2. I've been sitting here for a very long time thinking about next game here on this list. I thought for so long that it is now night. The next game is Super Mario RPG. Unfortunately, I didn't really think of anything to say about it. It's a good game though, and it's like just as good as it was when it came out though, isn't it? Don't you think? Don't you think? Like, do you think so? You know what I think is timeless? Turn-based RPGs. I think it's just a classic, proven gameplay formula, to be honest. If you think I'm wrong, how about Expedition 33? Everybody's loving that game, just came out recently. Turn-based game. It's almost like they're still good. Mario RPG looks just as good as it used to. The music's still as good as it used to be. The gameplay's still as good as it used to be. Characters, story, dialogue, all funny. You might as well just play it again, play it for the first time, play it for the 18th time. It's a great game, and it was back then, it still is. That's why I put it on here. Also, you could check out the remake. I was kind of rushing through that. I've talked about Mario RPG so many times. Next game, something I haven't talked about, or at least quite as much, or at least in a very, very, very long time, and or all of the above. Half-Life 2. It is kind of crazy for me to say this, but this game is, I think, 21 years old now. To me, Half-Life 2 still represents at least what teenage me thought was just the craziest game of all time. I didn't have a lot of PC games growing up. I had a really crappy PC. We played like edutainment games and stuff like that on it. But at some point, we got a new computer that could run some first-person shooters and things, and Half-Life 2 was one of those. The graphics are, you know, a little bit dated, I guess you could say, but I think the gameplay is still as good as it ever was. And I mean, realistically, the graphics aren't all that bad either. The best game ever made. I actually do think that you could make the argument that it is still the best game ever made. I personally wouldn't say that, but I wouldn't be mad at you if you did. The thing that stood out the most when this game came out to me, other than the graphics and just the fact that I was impressed with essentially any first-person shooter game. I mean, I was going from playing first-person shooters like GoldenEye 64 and this other shitty GoldenEye game for the GameCube that I can't even remember what it was called. Basically just console FPS games and not even cool ones like Halo. I mean, I know people like GoldenEye 64, but that game did not age well. In fact, it is the #1 game I think of when I think of games that aged poorly. Maybe we'll do that video next. Let me know if you want to see it. Maybe like the video if you want to see that, so I know that it's worth my time doing and worth Toasty's time editing. But going from those games to PC shooters, even Half-Life 1 was insane to me, much less Half-Life 2 when it came out later. But the thing that stood out the most, other than the obvious stuff, was the physics. I mean, this is the first game I can remember playing where you would solve puzzles in a fairly realistic way. I mean, there would be like a slab of metal and like a barrel under it, like a metal barrel, and you'd have to put things on top of this side of it in order to raise it up so you could get up onto the next platform. I mean, that's fairly elementary these days, but back then I had never seen anything like that before. The voice acting was amazing. The way they did the cutscenes, I mean, this was something they did in the original Half-Life as well, but you would just go through the entire game without any actual cutscenes or anything happening. All the characters would talk to you and interact in natural ways with no cuts, no loading screens or anything like that. Well, I guess they had little short loading screens, but it felt fairly seamless, especially for the time. It made the game very immersive. Way more immersive than any game I had played up to that point. And I would say this game is still more immersive than most games I played today. And I'm actually pretty big on immersion, especially in first-person games. I want to feel like I am actually in the game. A little side tangent, it's one of the reasons why I don't really like it when you have first-person games where the character talks. You know, there's some exceptions to that, but generally speaking, if it's a first-person game, I don't want the character talking. I want to feel like I am the character. Again, anyway, random tangent. Half-Life 2 does that very well. If you've never played this game, I would recommend playing it. I still think it is worth playing. The only problem is, and it is a pretty glaring problem, they never fucking finished it. I mean, they made Half-Life 2 Episode 1, Half-Life 2 Episode 2, and then just never finished the storyline. And it finished on a cliffhanger. I'm still pissed off to this day. It drives me crazy every time I think about it. But oh well. It's still worth playing. My canon ending to Half-Life 2 Episode 2 is that everybody died. Because that's pretty much what it looks like is going to happen. And then the other game never finished. So that is just kind of my canon ending. Everybody died. Ah, shit. Gordon Freeman's dead. Alex is dead. Everybody's dead. The world blew up. That's probably how it ends. All right, next game. We have a game that is, I believe, slightly under 20 years old, but just on the precipice of being 20 years old. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. This is pretty much the perfect example of the kind of game that ages really well. It's pretty much timeless. I mean, it is a detective game. Well, it's a detective lawyer game. You're both a detective and a lawyer. I don't think that's how it works in real life, but I never went to lawyer school, so I don't actually know. But yeah, you play as Phoenix Wright, and you take on cases. He is a defense attorney, so he only defends people. So it doesn't really try to do anything outside of the DS's capabilities. I mean, it is a 2D game with sprites that move and talk with animations, and then you move from frame to frame and do different detective work, etc. And then when you finally finish the detective work, you go into the courtroom. And I mean, everybody knows what Phoenix Wright is. Suffice it to say, the way the game is made, it's pretty much timeless. The characters are great, the story's great, everything about the game is great, but I know the thing that most people remember this game from is... Yeah, that song. That song that you've probably heard a million times, even if you've never played the game. Now that I'm thinking about it, there's actually multiple songs that Toasty could have picked to play there. That's how good the music and iconic the music is in this game. I have played this game all the way through, really enjoyed it. I played it when it first came out, but weirdly enough, I've never played the other games. Or at least I feel like I may have played the second one, but never got that far in it. So I don't really know why I've never played this game. I feel like it's one of those franchises that I need to come back to. Part of the problem is when I want to play Phoenix Wright again, I just start over at the first one again. I mean, it's been so long since I originally beat the game. I can't even really remember what happens anyways. I'm pretty bad about that kind of thing. I'm always going back to the start of games that I haven't finished, or the start of franchises where I haven't played the later games in the entries. But either way, one of these days, I'll get around to finishing it. If you haven't played this game, I highly recommend it. I want to say there was a mobile port of this game. Pretty sure that you can play this game on your phone now, so you have no excuse. All right, next we have another sticky note. Oh yeah, Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the PlayStation 1. I thought that I had this game, but I apparently do not. I have played it a bunch of times. I think I played it on the Ambernick, this completely legitimate handheld console that I have here. here. My brother-in-law actually gave me this for Christmas, and I don't do a lot of emulation. If you haven't noticed by looking at my shelf, I like to play the actual physical games if I can get them, but I mean, I'm not above emulation. I don't really have a problem with it, especially old games, and especially if I can play it on a handheld. So I guess last I was playing it was on this Ambernick. I swear I had this game though, so I don't know where it went. But yeah, I am not huge on Castlevania. It's one of those franchises kind of similar to Kirby, like I was mentioning earlier, where I have played a couple of the games in the series. I have played the DS Castlevania, I think it was the first one, really great game, and I played Symphony of the Night. For some reason, I've never played the other ones, even though I really like both of those games. Symphony of the Night is generally, from my understanding, considered to be the best Castlevania game. Let me know if I'm wrong. The pixel art style is just so good. It's still beautiful to look at. The gameplay is pretty timeless. The combat's really fun. You got a bunch of different items and things, or whatever you would call them. Weapons you can use. It's just a really fun game, and it has aged very well. That's kind of why I put it on this video, you know? There you go. That's the end of that segment. My favorite game, Castlevania's Symphony of the Night. All right, next we have Super Mario World. You can't do a video about games that aged well without including some kind of Mario game, especially if I'm trying to get games that are 20-ish years old or more. You can't really do too much better than Super Mario World. I feel like I'm about to start the most generic, like, top 10 segment of all time from a video made in 2013. What can you really say about Super Mario World that hasn't already been said? Yeah, that, but, like, unironically, I don't really know what to say about Super Mario World. It's basically the perfect 2D platformer. The graphics are super appealing even to this day. The music is iconic. Even just sitting here, I can hear the overworld theme in my head, and it will not stop. So yeah, it's almost on this list out of sheer obligation. Super Mario World, it's one of the best 2D platformer games ever made, and it will be forever, probably. Next, we have a game that I play constantly. In fact, out of all the games on this video, this is probably the one that I play the most. Left 4 Dead 2. In fact, I was gonna mention this at the start of the video, but I wore this QuakeCon shirt 2012, not only so you can know I've got old school gamer cred, but also because I specifically remember playing Left 4 Dead 2 at QuakeCon in 2012, and we don't even need to worry about how long ago that was. And I played it again, unrelated to this video, in my Discord server like 2 or 3 days ago. This game literally never gets old. You just shoot zombies. That's it. And it still amazes me how good it feels to shoot the zombies even today. I mean, I can't think of another zombie shooter game where it feels as satisfying to shoot the zombies as Left 4 Dead 2. And this is a game that is, again, it was made in 2009. It is almost crazy to me that it is even that old. It feels like it couldn't possibly be that old. I mean, I see popular Twitch streamers collabing, like VTubers collabing and playing Left 4 Dead 2, like probably a few weeks ago. I feel like that I saw that. It is a classic formula done pretty much perfectly. Left 4 Dead 2. I mean, if you haven't played this game already, then why not? Why haven't you? Probably because you have no friends. Man, these last two, it was hard for me to pick which one to put last, because again, it's more or less loaded towards the best aged games at the end. Again, not definitive, but suffice it to say, I had a hard time picking which one to put last. I did decide to do first Donkey Kong Country. This is another game that I thought I had the original game for, but apparently I don't. I do happen to have this Japanese version though, which looks way better than the English box anyway, if you ask me. To this day, it still amazes me how good the graphics are for this game on the Super Nintendo. I could sit here and explain to you and pretend that I understand the technology that went into the graphics for this game, but I am not going to patronize you in that way. I do not actually remember or understand what the technology was, but suffice it to say, they did something that looked real good, and good job on that, doing that. Rare, good work. I would normally read it some stuff about that on maybe on the back of the box, but again, it's in Japanese, and I don't even speak that, so I went... yeah. It's not just the graphics, though. Again, the gameplay, this is the type of 2D platformer that just barely ages as far as I'm concerned. This kind of gameplay style just will always be fun, at least to me, and there are a few games that do it better than Donkey Kong Country. In fact, I was talking about how great Super Mario World is. I actually prefer Donkey Kong Country quite a bit to Super Mario World. Even though Super Mario World is a certified classic, I still prefer Donkey Kong Country, to be honest, which is funny to me because Miyamoto was always, apparently, I don't even know if that's true. I'm just like spreading misinformation information. Apparently didn't even like this game. Yeah, Miyamoto is unfortunately not always correct. Bring back Goombario, okay? Bring back named NPCs in Paper Mario, or just retire, one or the other. I love you, but maybe retire? It sounds disrespectful. I don't mean it to be, but maybe just retire, I don't know. But yeah, Donkey Kong Country, also the music. Oh my god, the music in this game slaps. I mean, gun to my head, top 5 video game soundtracks is absolutely on there. Without even thinking, I'd throw this on there. Like this, Persona 5, The Sims, maybe Katamari, I don't know, and the other one's up for grabs, I guess. But this would absolutely be on there. No questions asked. But yeah, last game, let's do it. We have Roller Coaster Tycoon. I went with 2, but you could say 1 also if you want. As with a lot of the games on this video, part of it is the graphics. I mean, just even to this day, I absolutely love the graphics in this game. I cannot even imagine a graphic style that aged better than this. In fact, with Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, they tried to do this 3D shit, and bro, it sucks. Why did you move away from this amazing, classic, timeless pixel art? It's just so good. But the music is also amazing. The sound effects are amazing. I get the sound effects stuck in my head sometimes. Just randomly, I'll hear these little people on the ground saying these like weird nonsense sentences. Like I'll be trying to go to sleep and I hear their voices in my head. But the gameplay also is just insanely good. I mean, who doesn't want to create their own theme park? I think my only complaint about this game is that you can't, even through cheats to my knowledge, set it so that the people will willingly go on rides that will kill them. That's like literally my only complaint about the game. I want to force people to go on my death rides. Other than that, it's perfect. I just want to kill people more, and you can kill people, but not enough to my satisfaction personally. Other than the fact that you can't kill people as much as I want. It's perfect. It's a perfect game, okay? And with that, I will end this video off. As you can't tell, it's kind of late. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to see more, hit the like button, subscribe, and you can also check out some other Gaming Ramble videos that we've made here on this channel. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.